In this video, I'm going to demonstrate a new feature in the latest 2019 release of SOLA. This feature will enable access to any API in your SOLA portfolio using REST protocols. You will be able to go from something that might look like this to something that looks more like this. So I'm going to use this API as an example, and as you can see, there is a small icon here that indicates it is a SOAP-only API. What I do is simple. I just right-click and I select this new feature, REST API Designer. So the first step is to just add a new resource. So you right-click and click Add Resource, and I'll put this at version number 1. And now you have to indicate what you want to call this resource. I'm going to call this resource Customer. And in this case, customer takes two inputs, a customer ID and an order ID. I want to put the customer ID right on the URI path. So I do that just by putting a small marker. I can call it anything I want. I'll call it cust ID in this case. And I click OK. And as you can see, when I expand on this, it's indicated that cust ID is a URI parameter. The next thing I need to do is declare what HTTP method I want to use to get to this API. And in this case, I want to do a GET. So now all that's left is to right-click on this and bring up my schema. So as you can see, there are two inputs. So customer ID, I just need to drop that right over here on this marker. And order ID, I just place on query forms. All I need to do now is just close this window and finalize. So now as you can see, this has changed and it indicates now that this is both SOAP and REST. Now, we've created the Swagger for this, as you can see, just like we do when we create WSDL for SOAP APIs, and also the ROML, if you prefer ROML. So both of those things are now available. So let's go ahead and just show how this works. So this is the Postman tool. What I've done here is I've just put my URL up here, my FQDN, my port, and this is the resource I created, version 1 of customer. And again, I put the customer ID, in this case 1, right on the URI path, and order ID I'm passing in as a query string parameter. And as you can see, if I click send, I get back a result. If I go to order number 1, I'll get back order number 1. Now, if you have an application that wants to use this API, but XML is better suited to that application, that's an easy thing to do. You just go to your accept parameter, and you can change it to XML and send. And you can see it will send an XML equivalent. Let's switch back to JSON. Now, the only thing I really want to finish with here is to show how we've modified our error collection in case something goes wrong for REST. To do that, let's generate a couple of errors. So let's try this as a post, and you'll see that's going to fail because that method's not supported. We only established a GET method. If I go back to GET and I misspell customer somehow, it's going to also pick that up. So I've just created a couple of errors. So back to the SOLA IDE, let's go ahead and click on Error Search and pick up one of those errors. So as you can see, we no longer are collecting SOAP requests. That wouldn't make much sense. Instead, we're collecting information that was pertinent to this REST invocation. And in that case, that's the HTTP method. As you can see, it was a GET. And as you can see, yes, customer was misspelled, and it says that's an invalid resource. So those are the changes around the error collection for REST to make it very easy for you to get to the bottom of any issues that might crop up. So I hope this video was helpful, and thank you for watching.